People love to talk about progress like it's some neat little staircase, a straight shot to success. They think if they just do this and avoid that, they'll move forward, no questions asked. But progress, real progress, doesn't work like that. No, it's messy, it's unpredictable, it's a game that doesn't play fair. And the best part? Most people don't even realize they're the ones rigging it against themselves. People like to think progress is some magical feeling, something that just happens when they're in the right mood, when the stars align, when the universe decides to sprinkle a little bit of motivation into their empty little lives. They think if they just wait long enough, one day they'll wake up inspired, ready, hungry for change. But that's the lie they tell themselves, because the truth, the ugly, uncomfortable truth, is that progress doesn't give a damn about motivation. See, motivation is cute. It's fun. It's that little rush you get when you watch an inspiring video or read some deep quote or tell yourself, "This time I'll be different." It's that fleeting little spark, that sugar rush for the soul that makes people feel like they're ready to change, but it never lasts. Oh, no. It burns out the second things get hard, the moment reality shows up and smacks them in the face. That motivation, gone just like that. And then what? Oh, that's when the excuses start. I just don't feel like it today. I'll start tomorrow. Maybe next week will be better. I'll wait until I'm in the right mindset. And before they know it, a day turns into a week into a month into a whole damn year, and nothing's changed. Not because they couldn't change, but because they were too busy waiting for some magical force to push them forward. But that's not how progress works. Oh, no. Progress doesn't care if you feel like it. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It's there every day, daring you to move, daring you to show up, even when you're tired, even when you're uninspired, even when you'd rather do anything else. But most people, they can't handle that. They want it to be easy. They want it to feel good. They want to enjoy the process. And the second it stops being fun, the second it starts getting hard, they back out. They convince themselves it's not the right time, not the right energy, not the right circumstances. But the truth, it was never about circumstances. It was always about discipline. Discipline is what separates the people who talk about progress from the ones who actually make it. Discipline is what gets you up when you don't want to move. Discipline is what keeps you going when you're frustrated, exhausted, and ready to quit. Discipline is what forces you to act, no matter how you feel. And that's the part people hate. Because discipline, it's boring. It's not flashy. It's not fun. It doesn't give you that little motivational high. It's just work. Over and over. No applause, no instant rewards, no quick results. Just you grinding away in the dark while the rest of the world sits around waiting for motivation to magically strike. And that's the joke, isn't it? That people spend their whole lives looking for an easy way to get better when the answer was right in front of them all along. They don't need more inspiration, they don't need more motivation, they just need to do the damn work. Every day, whether they feel like it or not. People love to talk about making big moves, grand gestures, The kind of changes that turn heads, that make people stop and say, wow, look at them go. They want the overnight transformation, the dramatic before and after story, the kind of progress that looks good on a highlight reel. But here's the problem. Real progress, it's never loud. It's never flashy. It's never some giant leap that happens all at once. No. Real progress, it's small, it's quiet, it's boring, and that's why most people never stick with it. See, everyone's looking for one big step that changes everything. The magic switch, the shortcut, the secret trick that makes success easy. They want to wake up one day and suddenly be different, suddenly have it all figured out. But that's not how it works, is it? No, the real trick, the one nobody wants to hear, is that progress isn't made in big moments. It's made in the tiny ones, the little choices, the everyday actions that seem so small, so insignificant, that most people don't even bother. But it's the funny part, isn't it? People know what they need to do. They know they should eat better, work harder, stay consistent. They know they should take the steps, no matter how small. But they don't. Why? Because small steps aren't satisfying. They don't feel like progress. They don't come with a round of applause or some big reveal. They're just steps, one after another. And in a world obsessed with instant results, with overnight success stories, nobody wants to hear that progress is just a slow grind of boring, unseen effort. Most people give up long before they ever see results. They take a few steps forward, they don't see a big change, and they convince themselves it's not working. They say, this is pointless. This isn't enough. I need to do more. And then what happens? They burn out. They try to do too much, too fast, and when they can't keep up, they quit. They go right back to the beginning, waiting for the next spark of motivation to come along and push them forward again. A cycle, a never-ending loop of starting and stopping, of getting excited and giving up. But the ones who win, the ones who actually change, they understand something different. They know that every step, no matter how small, adds up. They know that progress isn't about feeling like you're getting somewhere. It's about trusting that you are. It's about showing up day after day, even when it feels pointless, even when you can't see the finish line, even when nobody's watching and nobody cares, because that's the real secret, isn't it? The small steps that seem like nothing, they're everything. The tiny habits, the little routines, the choices that seem too small to matter, those are the things that shape a person. Those are the things that create real, lasting change. But most people, they're too impatient, too desperate for big results. They don't want the slow path, the quiet path. They want the shortcut, the hack, the easy way. And that's why they never get anywhere. They refuse to believe that small daily actions could ever be enough. But the truth, that's the only thing that ever has been. People love to pretend they're waiting for the right time, the perfect moment, the stars to align. They sit there convincing themselves that if they just wait a little longer, if they just hold on, everything will suddenly make sense and they'll finally be ready to move. But that's the trick, isn't it? That's the little lie they tell themselves so they don't have to face the truth. And the truth? The truth is there is no right time. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. right here, right in front of you. And every second you waste waiting is a second you'll never get back. See, people love to think they have forever, that they can just put things off until tomorrow, next week, next year. I'll start when I have more money. I'll start when I feel ready. I'll start when life calms down. Oh, but life doesn't calm down, does it? No, life keeps going. And while they sit there waiting for the right conditions, the days slip through their fingers like sand, one by one. And before they know it, years have gone by, and nothing has changed. And here's the best part. Deep down, they know they're lying to themselves. They know there's no magical day coming when everything will be easier. But they keep waiting anyway. Why? Because it's comfortable. Because waiting is safe. Because as long as they're waiting, they don't have to risk failing. They don't have to face the pain of trying, the discomfort of struggling, the fear of things not working out. They get to pretend they're just being smart, just being careful, just being responsible. But really, they're just scared. And fear is a funny little thing. It whispers in your ear, telling you to wait just a little longer, telling you that you're not ready, telling you that if you step forward now, you'll regret it. And people listen. Oh, do they listen? They treat their fear like some wise old friend, like some voice of reason. But fear doesn't know reason. Fear only knows how to keep you stuck. It knows that if it keeps you waiting long enough, you'll never move. You'll never take the leap. You'll stay exactly where you are, forever. And that's the real tragedy, isn't it? That most people don't even realize they've wasted their lives waiting for a moment that was never coming. They don't see it until it's too late. Until the opportunities are gone, until the doors they could have walked through are closed, and then they start with the regrets. They look back at all the time they had, all the chances they ignored, and they wish, oh, if only I had started sooner. But by then, it's over. By then, time has made its choice for them. And the funniest part, the absolute best part, they could have started any time. They could have taken one step, just one, and everything would have been different. But instead, they chose to wait. They chose to let fear decide for them. And fear only knows how to steal. People love to talk about their potential. Oh, they love that word. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? Potential. Sounds so important. Like it's this grand, untouchable thing that guarantees success one day. One day. That's the key part. See, people hold on to their potential like it's a safety net. Like as long as they have potential, they don't actually have to do anything. They can just sit back, relax, and wait for their greatness to kick in. But here's the joke. Potential means nothing. It's worthless. It's a pretty little dream, a comforting thought, a nice excuse for not actually doing the work. It doesn't push you. It just sits there, waiting. And that's the tragedy, isn't it? People waste their whole lives thinking about what they could be instead of becoming what they should be. They tell themselves, I'm not there yet, but one day I'll make it happen. But one day never comes because they're too busy daydreaming about what's possible instead of working with what's real. They think they'll get there eventually, as if time alone will do the work for them. But time doesn't give a damn about potential. Time just moves. And if you don't move with it, well, you get left behind. The best part, the real punchline, most people know they're wasting time. They know they're sitting on their hands waiting for a miracle, but they like the illusion. Because once you start, once you actually put yourself out there, you have to face the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you're not as special as you thought. That maybe all that potential was just a story you told yourself to feel important. And that's scary, isn't it? The idea that you might try your hardest and still but that's where the real ones are different. See, they don't care about potential. They care about action. They care about the work. They don't sit around waiting to feel ready. They don't spend their days fantasizing about what could be. They just move. They take what they have right now and they use it. No waiting, no hesitation, no excuses. And funny thing, that's when progress actually happens. Not in some imaginary future where everything is perfect, but right here, in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the doubt, in the middle of the imperfection. But most people, they'd rather wait. They'd rather protect the idea of being great than risk proving they're not. They'd rather hold on to potential like a security blanket, safe and untouched, instead of putting themselves in the ring where they might actually lose. But that's the game, isn't it? You either step up and take your shot, or you sit back and watch as someone else does. And all that potential you thought made you special, turns out it was just wasted space. People talk about how important it is to have a clear vision. You know, the kind of vision that lights up your entire life and shows you exactly where you're supposed to go, like a neon sign leading you to the land of success. They love that idea, don't they? That if you just have the right vision, if you just know what you want, everything will magically fall into place. But let's take a little stroll down reality lane, shall we? Because the truth is, that vision is often just a pretty little picture in your head, something to keep you entertained while the world passes you by. See, everybody thinks that the hardest part is knowing where you're going, but that's not the hard part. The hard part is stepping out of your comfortable little box and actually doing something about it. That's where most people trip up. They have their visions, they have their dreams, they have all the plans in the world, but they never take the first step. They're so busy imagining how great it's going to be once they get there, they forget that the journey starts with a single move, no matter how small. It's easy to talk about your vision. It's easy to say, oh, I know what I want. You don't have to do anything to say that, do you? You can sit in your chair and just throw around the idea like it's some kind of magic formula. But vision without action is just that, a pretty picture in your head. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't get you closer to the life you want. It doesn't solve your problems or make the work easier. No, what gets you there is doing. It's the effort. It's the grind. It's the willingness to push through all the messy, uncomfortable stuff that comes between where you are and where you want to be. But here's the kicker. Most people won't do that. They won't put in the effort. They'll sit there with their vision, holding it like it's some kind of sacred thing, telling themselves that once the time is right, once they feel ready, they'll start working on it. But the time never comes. The right feeling, it never arrives. And so they sit, they wait, they tell themselves, I'll start tomorrow, or I'm just not in the right place yet. And the whole time, their vision just sits there, growing more distant with every second they waste. You see, vision is nothing if you don't have the guts to act on it. It's a nice idea, sure, a perfect dream, but a dream that stays in your head that doesn't turn into action is like a balloon floating up into the sky. Beautiful, but completely useless. You want something more than that, don't you? You want to do, you want to be something. And the only way to get there is to stop waiting around for some perfect moment and start making moves right now. It's not about waiting for everything to be perfect. It's not about having all the pieces in place before you take that first step. It's about seeing the goal, knowing that it's there, and walking towards it, no matter how many obstacles are in the way. And guess what? There will always be obstacles. Always. There will be times when it feels impossible. There will be days when you want to quit. But those are the moments that separate the people who talk about their vision from the ones who actually live it. Because the truth is, nobody is going to give you a map. Nobody is going to hand you a guidebook and say, here's the exact way to make your dream come true. You've got to create that path yourself, step by step, one decision at a time. And maybe you'll stumble, maybe you'll fall flat on your face a few times, but guess what? Every time you do, you learn, you grow, you figure out a way to do it better next time. And that's how you get closer to your vision. It's not by sitting back and waiting for the world to give you permission. It's by getting your hands dirty and just going for it, even when the odds aren't in your favor. You want success? You want your vision to become real? Then stop thinking that it'll just happen one day. It won't. You've got to work for it. You've got to fight for it. And the only way you're ever going to do that is by putting your vision to work. Get out of your own head. Stop thinking about how it could happen and start making it happen, because the more time you spend dreaming about what could be, the further away your vision gets. And you'll wake up one day and realize that while you were busy imagining the future, you forgot to live it. People always want to know the secret to success, the magic formula, the one little trick that's going to change their whole life overnight. They think there's a shortcut, a hidden path, a way to skip all the struggle and just arrive at greatness. That's funny, isn't it? Because deep down they know the truth. They just don't want to hear it. See, the truth is boring, it's ugly, it's not wrapped up in some shiny little package that makes you feel good. The truth is work. The truth is discipline. The truth is showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when nobody is clapping for you, when nobody believes in you, when nobody cares if you succeed or fail. It's in those moments when it's just you against the weight of the world that you either break or build. People don't want to hear that. They want to hear that if they just think positively, if they just manifest the right energy, if they just wait long enough, success will fall into their lap like some kind of cosmic prize. But that's not how this game works. The game doesn't care how badly you want something. It doesn't care how much you believe in yourself. It cares about what you do. That's the joke, isn't it? The ones who get ahead aren't the smartest. They aren't the most talented. They aren't the ones with the best ideas. They're just the ones who keep showing up. The ones who do the work while everyone else is busy talking about doing the work. They don't need motivation. They don't wait to feel ready. They just go. And that's why they win. But most people, they'd rather wait. They'd rather sit around looking for the right moment, the perfect opportunity. They think that someday everything will just click and they'll finally be able to move forward. But time doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Time just moves, and while they're sitting there, trapped in their own heads looking for the perfect place to start, someone else is already 10 steps ahead. It's funny, really. People complain about not being where they want to be, but they spend all their time doing things that keep them exactly where they are. They say they want change, but they do nothing to create it. They're scared of the work, scared of the effort, scared of putting themselves in a position where they might actually fail, so they lie to themselves. They say they'll start tomorrow. They tell themselves they just need a little more time, a little more inspiration, a little more certainty. And while they're busy waiting, life moves on without them. The ones who make it, they're not the ones with the perfect plan. They're not the ones who waited for all the stars to align before they took their first step. They're the ones who moved, even when they didn't have all the answers, even when they were scared, even when they didn't feel ready. They understood something most people never do. Success isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about creating the right moment. And guess what? It's going to be ugly. It's going to be messy. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have days where you feel like you're getting nowhere. But that's the price. That's the cost of getting what you want. And if you're not willing to pay it, well, there's a whole world full of people just like you, sitting around, waiting for their big break, waiting for their perfect moment, waiting for something that's never coming. The difference between winning and losing, it's not luck. It's not talent, it's not intelligence, it's persistence. It's having the nerve to keep going when everyone else quits. It's taking action when everyone else is waiting for permission. It's doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. And that's something most people will never understand, because they'd rather dream about being great than do what it actually takes to be great. People like to think life is fair. They walk around with this little idea in their heads that if they just do the right things, if they just follow the rules, then everything will work out the way it's supposed to. That's cute. Really it is. Because if that were true, then the hardest workers would always win. The kindest people would always be rewarded, and the ones who cheat, lie, and manipulate, well, they'd always get what's coming to them, right? But life doesn't work like that. It never did. It never will. You can do everything right and still lose. You can give your best effort and watch someone who barely tried walk away with the prize. You can be the smartest, the most talented, the most deserving, and none of that guarantees you anything. Because the truth is life isn't about fairness. It's about power. Who takes it, who holds it, who controls the game, while everyone else is still busy playing by the rules. And that's the joke, isn't it? Most people spend their whole lives waiting for things to make sense. They think that if they just keep working, if they just keep being good, then eventually everything will fall into place. They believe in balance, in justice, in karma, like the universe is some kind of well-oiled machine that always delivers exactly what's earned. But the ones who get ahead, they know better. They don't waste time hoping the world will be fair. They don't sit around waiting for things to magically work out. They see the game for what it really is. You ever notice how the ones at the top don't work the hardest? They don't break their backs. They don't follow the same rules as everyone else because they know the rules were never meant to serve them. The rules are for the ones at the bottom, the ones who still think that playing fair is going to get them somewhere, the ones who wake up every day, put their heads down and do exactly what they're told, while someone else collects all the reward. It's not about effort. It's about strategy. It's about knowing when to move, when to wait, when to strike. The people who win, they don't waste time complaining about how things should be. They don't cry about how unfair the world is. They accept it, they embrace it, and then they figure out how to use it to their advantage. But most people don't want to hear that. They want to believe that if they just stay on the right path, if they just keep grinding, if they just trust the process, then eventually they'll get their reward. And when they don't, when they realize that life doesn't work that way, they get angry, they get bitter, they start blaming everyone but themselves, because the truth is too much for them to handle. The truth is the world doesn't care about their hard work. It doesn't care about their sacrifices. It doesn't care about how much they deserve success. The world only cares about results. The ones who win in this life, they don't waste their energy trying to make sense of things. They don't sit around asking, why is this happening to me? They don't wait for the world to change. They adapt. They find the loopholes. They figure out what actually works, not what should work, and then they move. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait for approval. They take what they need and they keep going. And the rest, they just sit there, confused, frustrated, wondering why nothing ever goes their way. They'll keep following the rules. They'll keep playing nice. They'll keep waiting for life to reward them for being good people. And they'll keep losing again.